beautiful sunny day.
Our final day here. Early morning and excellent weather. We tried a different coffee shop, My Little Melbourne. Had a simple breakfast, very nice coffee. We then strolled along the river on our way to the Shoe Memorial. The statue of Empress Elizabeth of Austria, affectionately called Sisi. It's indeed a pleasure to stroll around the city on such a pleasant morning. But on such a peaceful morning, I can't help being reminded of the horrific past of this city. Not only the atrocities of World War II, but also the revolution of 1956, which was barbaric. Hopefully all that is now behind them, though I'm sure it left scars. Budapest is indeed a beautiful city, as with many other European cities, blending the historic and modern and having a character of its own. So much happened here over the years. We enjoyed our walk, getting interesting shots as we walked. Franz Liszt Academy of Music is here. He's highly regarded among the great composers of his day. The architecture here among the best in Europe.
Well, on the banks of the River Danube here in Budapest, it's been a really fantastic time.
It's a joy to be in the center of it all. The river, the bridges, the buildings, and the ever-present trams, adding their charm too. For me, always trying to capture images that communicate the moment, the feeling, so that others can enjoy it too. History all around. and wherever we look, as it were, layers of interest. We then came to the shoe memorial, 60 pairs of shoes of the style worn in the 1940s. There are women's shoes, men's shoes, and children's shoes. They sit on the edge of the water, as though their owners had just left them there, but they're made of iron. A memorial and a monument to the Hungarian Jews and other civilians who, in the winter of 1944-45, were shot on the banks of the Danube River by members of the Arrow Cross Party, a pro-Nazi organization that committed horrific acts. Known as the Shoes on the Danube Promenade, the memorial was set up in 2005. Unarmed Jews and civilians opposed to the Arrow Cross Party were cowardly shot into the Danube by Arrow Cross militiamen, who then introduced a reign of terror in Budapest, beating, raping, plundering, and killing both Jews and civilians. Thousands of Jews were murdered all over the city. Shooting the Jews into the Danube was convenient because the river carried the bodies away. A witness describes it thus: I heard a series of popping sounds. Thinking the Russians had arrived, I slunk to the window. But what I saw was worse than anything I've ever seen before, worse than the most frightening accounts I ever witnessed. 2 Arrow Cross men were standing on the embankment of the river, aiming and shooting a group of men, women and children into the Danube, one after the other. On their coats, the yellow star. I looked at the Danube. It was neither blue nor grey, but red. With a throbbing heart, I ran back to the room in the middle of the apartment and sat on the floor, gasping for air. Travel is not just about scenery and food. It helps us understand their people, their past.